Hey everyone, hope you guys are all doing well today. We're going to do a collective reading, see what the message is for you guys. Keep in mind it's general, so it could be past, present, or future. You will know best how this resonates, okay? In your story, if it resonates at all. So let's just get into it. What is the message for today? Spirit, tell us, what is your message for today for the collective? Let's see what's going on. We have the Six of Cups and the Five of Wands. The Queen of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, okay, and the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom. So we're dealing here with something from the past, possibly, okay, an argument, some sort of fighting about something that happened in the past, okay? We have a Queen of Cups, so this could be you or who you're dealing with, and then we have the Nine of Pentacles. So this has to do with an argument surrounding some sort of money or someone's abundance. Okay, let's see what this is here. Why is the Six of Cups here? What happened in the past? A breakup, lovers in reverse, the Five of Swords, Seven of Cups. So this has something to do with a relationship ending possibly, and someone here being manipulative and confusing. Okay, so somebody possibly trying to manipulate you, gaslight you, confuse you, conceal something. Okay, what's the Five of Wands? The Hierophant in reverse, the Three of Swords, and the Three of Wands. So either this is something possibly illegal or corrupt, or this could have something to do with someone's values, someone's integrity, someone's lack of commitment, okay, or possibly divorce, and being heartbroken about future plans. Okay, who's the Queen of Cups? The Nine of Wands, somebody is defensive. The Page of Wands with some sort of communication. All right, what's this Nine of Pentacles? The Seven of Wands in reverse, there's someone that can't defend themselves, or the Ten of Swords and the Four of Swords. This has to do with a betrayal, a painful betrayal, a painful ending, and somebody thinking about this, contemplating this. Somebody doesn't know how to defend themselves here when it comes to an ultimate betrayal, but they might not be saying something. Okay, tell me more about what happened in the past here, please. Eight of Swords, someone is feeling stuck in their head, or they're feeling trapped or stuck in a mindset, or the Emperor. This has to do with an Emperor. Why is someone feeling stuck and trapped in their head? What happened in the past? Healing Heart in reverse. Somebody is not free from a toxic relationship or addiction. Somebody is not healing from heartbreak. And someone is trying to move forward, receive what they need, progressing, arriving. So this is about somebody trying to move forward without healing their heart, moving forward without healing heartbreak that happened in the past. Who's this Emperor? A main male. So why is this main male, or this Emperor, could be an Aries, or someone is stuck in their head or wondering how you could move forward and not heal from heartbreak? Okay, wait a minute. Help me understand this a bit better, please. 5 of Cups. The Magician in reverse. This has to do with creating some sort of an illusion about sadness and grief. Or it could appear, so maybe it appears to this Emperor like you're creating an illusion about your sadness, or maybe hiding your sadness, because for some reason someone here feels stuck in their head, or they're trapped in a mindset of thinking that you're not healing from heartbreak, or you haven't healed from something. You're not working on healing your heart. You're just trying to move forward. So it's almost giving me like trying to put a band-aid on something, okay? Maybe someone has a perception that you're just ignoring your feelings, or you're ignoring your heartbreak, and you're creating an illusion about sadness. But it's not, I'm not getting that you're pretending to be sad. It's more like maybe you're hiding it. You're creating the illusion of happiness. It could come across like you're putting a band-aid on something, or someone else is putting a band-aid on something, on their sadness, hiding it in order to move forward. Okay, why is that here? Temperance, because of your healing, or your balance, or your emotional balance. Okay, so this is kind of giving me that somebody might be confusing a situation here a bit, where you're creating an illusion of being happy, or covering up your sadness, which makes it almost appear like you're trying to just forget about something or sweep it under the rug. But it appears to someone like you're not healing from heartbreak, or that's what someone's trying to say. I'm not sure. The Emperor. This has to do with this Emperor. Why? Why am I just heard the song from Fergie in my head, Big Girls Don't Cry, okay? Or this could be something about, you know, the Emperor is here twice, main male. This is even like, you know, how some people teach boys or men that they're not allowed to show that they're sad, or they're not allowed to show emotion, and then they end up bearing it down, and it could appear like they're ignoring their emotion, when in reality they're just covering it up. That's kind of what this feels like. Yeah, with a relationship. So it's, for someone here, it's not that you're ignoring your pain. It's not that you're ignoring the sadness, or you're trying to just move something forward or pretend like something didn't happen. It's not that you're avoiding healing the heartbreak. It's that you're covering it up. It's that you're just not showing it. You just tend to try and cover it up, how you really feel on the inside. And you might even do this with someone that you're in an active relationship with. It's like even in front of people that you're very close to, you create this illusion around how you feel. You cover up your sadness. Just to kind of move forward in life. But it kind of also might make it look like you're just moving forward and ignoring the pain, but you're not. You're just covering it up. I don't know. That's what I'm getting here, though. Death, surrounding an ending, a permanent ending. Okay. 8 of Swords. This has to do with someone feeling trapped and stuck in their head. I don't like that one. Okay, wait a minute. What is this about here? 8 of Swords. Stabbed in the back, yeah. So these feelings that you feel, heartbreak, pain, separation, deception, shocking attack, the pain of feeling stabbed in the back, the heartbreak and the pain, the deception. It's almost like you get stuck in your head about this, or it's stuck in your head. It's stuck in here, you know, or you get stuck in here, or you build, how should I say this? It's giving me like you put your pain and your emotions and your feelings and your thoughts in a box that is within you, and it's like it's what you carry within yourself. You don't open up this box to everyone. You don't show this to everyone. If anything, it's like a concealed box within you, and it's there, like within you, inside of you, it's open, and you feel it, and you're sad, and you're dealing with a betrayal and feeling stabbed in the back. But it's like with the Eight of Swords, it's like it's trapped in your head, like it's trapped within you, like you don't show it outside. If anything, this is really giving me like you creating this illusion to everyone else that you're fine. You put on a happy face, you hide how you feel, you keep everything in this box in your mind. Okay, so why is this important for the collective here? Because this has to do with someone here wanting victory and success, wanting to win, wanting to be the winner, wanting to come out on top by taking a risk, by having a new beginning. Or it has something to do with, what is that about? A King of Swords in reverse. This has to do with a King of Swords in the reverse, taking a risk and thinking that they can win something here and have victory and success because of your pain? What? Self-absorbed narcissist in reverse, one-sided relationship in reverse. What is this? Why does this King of Swords in reverse here? A community. This has to do with someone in the community that took a risk in the past thinking that this would help them win. And it has to do with your pain that you carry within yourself. Of how poverty, of isolation. I feel like poverty is about your isolation, or even sudden wealth and great fortune. So this might have something to do with a time in your life where you were going through poverty. Now this could be financial poverty, or it could be like feeling physically abandoned, okay? Feeling like you're physically alone, or okay, help me understand this better. Why is this here? Because there's something that people don't understand, or there's something that is not clear, or there's a stalemate here, there's an illusion. There's something that people don't understand about a relationship. And a King of Wands in reverse. So someone here took a risk in the past and they didn't think anybody would understand something here or see something clearly here about a relationship with a King of Wands reverse because of the way that you deal with your emotions. I just don't understand this quite. What's Lovers in reverse? A date. This has to do with a breakup because of someone dating someone new. Or this has to do with somebody dating someone new and planning setting a date because of a breakup. Or a breakup because somebody had been dating someone else. Okay. This has to do with the past, reminiscing. Learn from the past, the perception of the past. How people manage to change the perception of the past. How this has to do with some sort of memories from the past where someone was dating someone else, or there was a breakup because someone had dated someone else. This has to do with your emotions in the past, or something that you went through emotionally in the past, okay? So how is this being manipulated here? 5 of Swords, 7 of Cups. The Empress. Strength. And the 5 of Cups in reverse. This has to do with, okay, so something that was manipulated here has to do with your strength, your aura, your presence, your confidence, how you see yourself, how you value yourself, and you coming out of sadness, you coming out of grief, heartbreak, and sadness, reclaiming your power, knowing who you are, knowing what you're worth. So wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Is this because it's something internally that they were able to create an illusion, or how is this? What does this mean? This has to do with you healing, okay? You healing from heartbreak and pain and betrayal. The Queen of Pentacles, the 8 of Cups, and someone walking away from a Queen of Pentacles, or somebody leaving because of a Queen of Pentacles, you leaving, you walking away because of a Queen of Pentacles, or this is you. And somebody giving something to someone, somebody giving someone money, somebody giving something to someone, money or something like that. Okay, what is that? A male female. And change. Okay, so this has some, so either you're the main female or this is the Queen of Pentacles. Just take it how it resonates. But it's about a change that you went through, or a change that you made, or something that you did to change the situation, or to heal your emotions, or to heal this betrayal. For some reason, I just want to say, like, it feels like someone in this situation was able to lie, or they took some sort of a risk here to lie about something, to create an illusion, to gaslight the situation, manipulate the situation. And they did this, or they were able to do this because you deal with your emotions so privately, or you deal with it without it like being shown, obviously. I don't know. It's almost like your emotions to people are like a mystery, so they're able to interpret a lot. It's giving me, you know, if someone doesn't speak openly about their emotions, or they don't wear it on the outside, or they're not, I don't know how to say this. It's almost like your emotions and how you feel and what's going on within you and your thoughts, your inner thoughts, it's like a mystery to people. And so because it's so mysterious, I guess, there's a lot of room for interpretation. So people can take like little outbursts of emotion, I guess you could say, or little things that you show, and then they interpret how you must be feeling for this little sign of emotion to be coming out of you. And it's something about them, you know, people trying to say that maybe you put a band-aid on things, or you don't deal with your emotions in a healthy way, or you don't actually heal from heartbreak, or you just kind of try and move on, or you just, I don't know what exactly they're trying to say here, but it's almost like because you're that good at covering up your emotions, right? That's honestly what I'm getting here, is like you're so good at covering up how you feel, and you're so good at creating an illusion to every single person around you that about how you feel. You have such a, you know, way of compartmentalizing it, or keeping all of your emotions in a box locked away, that people don't know what's really going on within you, and they can just interpret. But they can't really interpret anything because it's a mystery to them, because you're really good at creating an illusion and covering up how you feel. I don't know. That's kind of what this is giving me. Right? So let's see why this is important here today. Why is this so important? Because there's a King of Swords in reverse that thought that they could win a situation. They could take some sort of risk and they could win because of a divorce, or because of a lack of commitment, or because of a lack of integrity, a lack of morals. What is that? The Six of Swords. Eight of Cups. This has to do with you leaving something behind, you moving on a piece, you leaving something behind, you processing something and being able to move on to peace. You knowing what serves you, you knowing what doesn't serve you, and you leaving a situation behind that doesn't do anything for you anymore. Okay, so what's the Hierophant reverse? Change. This has to do with you and changing something. Or maybe even like your ability to deal with change. What is this? A thoughts in reverse. Somebody cannot see inside of your thoughts. They don't understand your thoughts. Someone doesn't understand what you think, what goes on inside your mind. It's like your mind is a mystery, okay? People cannot see, like change is like something physical. When something physically changes, right? That's what they can see, but they cannot see your thoughts. They cannot read you. People can't read you or your emotions very well. They can't see within you, okay? I just don't, why is that important? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because this has to do with someone not receiving a commitment, not receiving an engagement ring, not receiving, okay, so the Hierophant in reverse could be like a lack of commitment, a lack of marriage, a lack of someone being able to lie about this, or someone doesn't have clarity or truth here when it comes to your feelings about not receiving a commitment or not receiving an engagement, or leaving behind an engagement or the lack thereof. The Heart with the Key, because of somebody being the one, somebody opening their heart, getting together perfect. So it's almost like people might feel like something here is a contradiction, or you contradict yourself, but it's because they're not able to read your emotions, okay? Really, that's all it is. Or you're just a private person, or it's something about you not receiving an engagement, you not receiving commitment, and how you were able to leave this behind. And it's almost like people might think that you didn't leave this behind, or you weren't able to move on from this, or this is something that you haven't let go of yet. And it's because they don't understand your thoughts and your emotions. They're just, okay, see, there's three things that matter, right? They say actions, words, but I feel like the third thing in this equation is your thoughts and your feelings. So people are looking at your actions, and I feel like they're trying to draw some sort of conclusions from your actions, maybe even a bit of your words, but they're not understanding your thoughts and your feelings. So they're not understanding why you act a certain way, or why you were able to leave something behind, because maybe your actions are contradicting your words, but it's because they don't understand your feelings and your thoughts. So that's kind of what I'm getting off of this. Okay, so this has to do with some sort of an argument here about a lack of commitment, and being heartbroken about a lack of commitment, or not getting married, or not getting engaged, okay? What's the Five of Wands? The Ten of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. This has to do with a fight. about a lot of money and the Ten of Cups in reverse, a broken family. Wait a minute, is this what I think it is? Is that what is my intuition correct? Yeah, it has something to do with you or someone feeling frustrated in a relationship, somebody lacking confidence, jealousy, fear issues, insecurity, feeling not enough. So it's some sort of an argument about not feeling good enough because somebody doesn't maybe want to be a family with you, or it's an argument about not having family, not wanting to be a family, not feeling like you can maybe even create a family with this person. Maybe you felt like you can't even become a family with this person, or that's something that might be not desirable to you anymore. Maybe because you felt frustrated in the relationship, you felt like something was lacking. Okay. This has to do with indulgence. I mean, that says focusing on self-worth. Okay, so you know what this is kind of giving me? It's like maybe somebody's lack of commitment in the past made you feel like you are unworthy of that kind of a commitment, or the way that someone treated you made you feel like, you know, they don't want to be a family with you, or they don't see you being, you know, fit for that role, I guess you could say. It's kind of like when you're in a relationship with someone for a long time and they're not committing and there's a lack of, you know, an engagement, or there's no proposal, or there's no wedding, something like that. You're not working towards any of this. Maybe they made you feel like, you know, you're not fit for the role, or you feel like they don't see you as becoming like a unit with them, or becoming like a family unit. There's a lack of that, right? And in the past, that could have made you feel insecure. It could have made you feel like you weren't good enough because maybe they didn't make your relationship a priority, or if you want to be a wife or you want to be a husband, and then you're dealing with someone that isn't committing to you, it can make you question yourself or doubt yourself. Like, is there something lacking within me that makes me not good enough in this person's eyes to be that, right? Like, why am I only girlfriend or boyfriend material? Why am I not being seen as wife, husband material? Like, what am I lacking that this person doesn't want to give me that level of commitment, right? But that could have been another thing that like made you look within and start to focus on yourself more. And it's giving me something like how someone treated you in the past, or how someone treats you, and this lack of being a family, and some lack of like togetherness. So this has to do with how you feel about yourself, the Nine of Cups. It's like you finding your own sense of fulfillment, your own sense of purpose, your own happiness, and disconnecting your self-worth from this idea of being a family with someone, or this idea of being good enough for someone else so that you can be seen as a wife or as a husband. It's like, you know, I'm not less worthy of a person or less desirable as a person because the person that I'm dating or dealing with doesn't see me as being worth the commitment, right? Because that can kind of eat at you, right? If you feel like you're good enough to, you know, get with, you're good enough to date, but you're not good enough to lock down, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you're good enough for now, but not for the future. And that can make you insecure, wondering like, well, why not? I mean, I feel like, you know, why am I not good enough for that commitment? That's what this is giving me, okay? So some sort of an argument that you had here maybe helped you disconnect your self-worth from how this other person views you, or how this other person values you, or what kind of a value or what kind of a place you're holding in that person's life, okay? So there was heartbreak here surrounding a lack of commitment from someone, a lack of engagement, a lack of marriage, and it hurt you. It hurt you. And I feel like what hurt you is that you felt like this person didn't see you as being worth that, or having that sort of value, or being wife material, husband material, or just treating you like a placeholder, treating you like someone for right now, but not for, you know, in 20 years. You know, this could even be, for some reason I'm getting like, this could even be someone like, maybe, let's say you're dating someone who was previously engaged or previously married or divorced. And that kind of a feeling could come up as well for some of you, where then you're wondering like, well, why were they worth that, but I'm not? Why could you see that with them, but not with me, right? So it kind of like, it might do, like it says, it says on this card, like lack of confidence, jealousy, ego issues. So it could have kind of triggered something within your ego, maybe, right? This question of like, well, why are you able to see that kind of a value with someone else, but not with me, right? Okay. What else? The Page of Cups. Yeah, you might have felt like this person was just breadcrumbing you, or just giving you the bare minimum, or just giving you minimum effort. It's like, here's some flowers. Now you're my girlfriend, boyfriend, and that has to be enough, okay? But if you're someone that's dating for serious commitment, and you see that person as being worth the commitment, you're sitting there going like, well, why do I see you this way, but you don't see me that way, okay? And that could hurt. Yeah, the Three of Cups. It's like, why are you able to commit to all these other people, but not to me? Or maybe this has to do with a wedding. I don't know. The Three of Cups, it could be a celebration of some sort. What is that? A wealthy man. A wealthy man. So maybe someone here like prioritizes money over love, or a community. Yeah, so you might feel like whoever you're dating here, now they can be wealthy woman, wealthy man, whatever it is, right? But you might feel like they prioritize everybody else and everything else over your connection. Or, you know, maybe they treated you in the past also like they don't want to marry you or commit to you because they already have all these other financial responsibilities to everyone else. It's kind of giving me a bit like, well, if I marry you, then I would have to be financially, we would have to be financially responsible for each other, or I would have to like share, you know, it's kind of giving me like someone that wants to be independent, and they want to be casual, and they want to be on their own terms, and they have, you know, other people that they're already taking care of. And you know, especially, okay, so especially if there's like a divorce situation where you're dating someone that's divorced, and maybe they have to pay child support, or they have to pay alimony, or they have financial obligations elsewhere. You could have felt like this person now is no longer seeing you as like a relationship as much as they're seeing you as like a financial liability, okay? Like they kind of treat you like they don't want to get themselves into the next financially draining situation where they have to pay for you. And they're no longer seeing your relationship based on commitment and love as much as like a risk assessment, okay? So you could have, yeah, it's kind of giving me like, maybe you felt like in the past this person treated you like they were calculating the risk of marrying you or being with you long term, and for them it wasn't worth the risk. Like they didn't see it as valuable enough to, you know, I don't know, commit there. But that could have really hit your self-esteem, because it makes you wonder like, then why are you with me, right? Like, why do you want to be with me if I'm not worth that commitment to you? And then you have someone here that's like, well, I want the perks of being with you, but I don't want to actually commit because that would be a liability, right? So there could have been a fight here in the past where that really bothered you. But I feel like if anything, what it did was act as a catalyst for you to go, okay, I see. This is hitting my self-esteem. You're making me feel like I'm not worth this. You're making me feel like I'm not good enough for this role. Or, you know, this person is treating you like they're checking boxes with you. Like you have to check certain boxes in order to be good enough to marry or something like that. And I feel like you got to the point where you were just like, I don't even give a fuck anymore if I'm worth it to you and if I'm worth marriage to you, okay, because I deserve it. Because I'm a great person and that's that, okay? And not because I check all the boxes and not because you're doing the risk assessment and I'm, passing the test. It's like, that's not what commitment should be about. But for some people, and whoever this is, that's what this feels like, okay? So why is the Queen of Cups here? The Eight of Pentacles. This has to do with a Queen of Cups and somebody working on something. The Two of Swords, somebody not understanding why you're working on something, or not understanding why you're working on something or working towards something. Or what is this? Cassette in reverse, outdated thinking in reverse. Someone here is not understanding that you're not stuck in this past way of thinking, because the realization is that you realize someone is treating you like a risk assessment. They're treating you like, a liability. And you're not gonna want someone to commit to you. How should I say this? Okay. So I feel like in the past you were upset that you weren't getting commitment. It made you feel a certain type of way. Maybe you even fought with this person about this and this person's priorities and, your value and all that. The minute that you realize that this whole conversation you're having with someone is stupid, because what you're actually begging for at the end of the day is this person's approval of you, or that this other person sees you as being good enough to marry. You're begging another person for commitment because you want that validation from them, that they see you as being good enough to be wife, to be husband. You're not running after the marriage as much as you want this other person to see you as being good enough for that. And your mindset changed the minute you realized what you're actually doing here when you're begging someone for a commitment because you want to feel like you're good enough for that and that they value that you as such, and that, you change the minute you realize that you don't need this person's validation and you don't need that commitment or that engagement to know that you are worth being loved and committed to. You don't need that person's stamp of approval that you finally check all the boxes, which make you more than, when they're assessing the risk here, you might be a liability for their finances and their community, but you are worth the risk to them. Like, once you realize what that is, you're going to stop chasing after the commitment and after the engagement and after the marriage, because maybe at some point you wanted that with this person because you wanted to feel like you were good enough for that, or they saw you as being good enough for that, okay? But your self-worth is no longer tied to how other people see you or how other people, value you, or if they respect you enough, or if they see you as being good enough to wife, good enough to husband. It's like, that's not where your confidence is anymore. And that's why I feel like you're no longer running after that commitment from this person. You're no longer expecting that marriage because you don't want to have, first of all, you don't want to have to beg. Okay? You don't want to have to beg. You're definitely not going to be begging someone to commit to you. Okay? And second of all, you want someone that commits to you because they want that commitment and not because they're treating you like how should I say this? Like a list of pros and cons. I hope that makes sense, okay? So you're not in this outdated thinking anymore of like, wishing you could have this commitment, wishing you could have this marriage. You might be at the point in your life where you don't even really care right now if it happens or not. Okay? When you meet enough people that don't value marriage or commitment at all anyways, it kind of loses its sparkle, right? If you're someone that was maybe old-fashioned and you believed in the sanctity of marriage, and then you walk around and see how many people just, absolutely, excuse my French, shit all over it, it kind of makes it lose its sparkle. And especially if you get into a relationship where you feel like you have to beg for it, you feel like you have to prove yourself to be good enough for that, and then you have confidence and then you work on yourself and you know what you're worth, you're not going to be chasing after that person because you're not going to feel like you have to prove yourself to them anymore. It's like, this is me, this is how I am. I'm not proving myself to be good enough for that, okay? Either you see my worth and you see that and you want to commit to me because you love me, because you want to be with me forever. You can be monogamous, okay? I'm your partner for life, but not because I've proven myself to be good enough to be a husband or a wife, okay? We're not going to be treating people here like, like a catalog. Like, oh, do you fulfill all my checkbox requirements? And are you, do I think that long term the risk assessment is low enough? Like, fuck out of here with that, okay? That is not real commitment. The chaser, it's something about chasing after marriage or chasing after the idea of commitment. You're not, though. You're not chasing after marriage. You're not chasing after commitment. You're not chasing after engagement, nothing. Because it's like you don't really want it unless it's real. And you don't really want it unless the other person wants it genuinely from the heart and not because you feel like you had to prove yourself that you are now of value for this, right? Because you cannot grow confidence. You cannot be confident. You cannot have self-respect and self-worth when you're still in a mindset of feeling like you need to prove to other people that you're worth something or you're good enough. Okay, when you start being really confident and knowing what you're worth, you stop doing that. You stop feeling like you have to prove yourself to anyone, because it's like, this is me. If you can't see that, then that's tough luck for you, right? So what's the Nine of Wands and the Page of Wands? Death in reverse. Something about not ending something. The truth is a tower. Boom. Okay, so the truth is a shocking truth that changes everything. This is a shocking truth that's coming in like a lightning bolt, breaking apart everything. People are shocked about the truth. The truth about not ending something. A fight and someone walking away. Yeah, so it's okay. So this is giving me like the contradiction. So people are confused about actions, words, thoughts, and feelings. Okay, so the action is you might have separated from someone, or you might have left someone in the past, or you just had a fight with someone in the past, but maybe you didn't leave. Maybe you didn't break up with someone, even though there was a fight here about lack of commitment. So what you're saying is, you're making me feel insecure because you don't want to commit to me. Why do you not want to commit to me? Why don't you want to get married? Why is there a commitment lacking? I'm unhappy with this dynamic. I feel like I'm worth more. But your actions say you're not leaving. So, okay, so people are like, wait, why are you saying you don't want this, but you're not leaving? And it's because people are not understanding the thought process and the feeling process behind it, where this situation, what it actually ended up teaching you about yourself is that you're chasing someone for commitment and approval because you want this person to marry you, to make you feel like you're good enough for that role, or you are worthy of being a husband and wife. You have internally disconnected from that limiting belief that you need someone else to propose to you, or you need someone else to marry you in order to be good enough for a commitment. You have disconnected from that belief that was tied to your self-worth. You are tying your self-worth to someone else's, how should I say, how they approve of you, or how they, you're tying your self-worth to the other person's ability to commit. Once that was disconnected within you, that your self-worth has nothing to do with if this person wants to commit to you or not, that's how you were able to say what you needed to say in a fight, but also maybe not leave the relationship immediately. Or in this situation, you didn't leave the relationship, you stayed, but you had a fight. So there's a disconnect between actions and words, yes, but it's because the internal process is, okay, I'm done with the commitment aspect of this. Okay, so yeah, we can stay together, but marriage, engagement, I'm not running after that. I'm not even really interested anymore. I'm not gonna chase after anymore, because I'm only doing this because I want you to tell me I'm good enough for that. And that belief has been disconnected. Okay. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. What's the Tower and the Truth? This is the truth about an ending, bringing a new beginning, growth, change, liberation, transition. So where in the past, okay, now I'm getting it. In the past where you felt stuck, in the past where you felt trapped, and the Eight of Swords might be a limiting belief as well, okay, where you're stuck in your head, you're feeling trapped because you want a commitment from someone that's not giving it to you. It's making you feel bad about yourself. It's making you feel insecure. The sudden realization and the epiphany, I feel like, isn't even as much as in the fight as it was like an internal revelation that you had about, why am I even doing this? Like, why do I even want this person to commit to me? And why am I even fighting about this all the time? Like, why do I keep bringing it up? Why do I keep wanting to know why this person won't? Like, when you already know the answer internally. Okay. So then you were able to liberate yourself from a self-imposed limiting belief that you are only good enough if this person commits to you, okay? That's the disconnect that happened here in this situation. Yeah, so what's the Nine of Pentacles? Independence. Your independence. Yeah, the High Priestess and the Six of Pentacles. Yes. This is when you went within and said, why am I asking for somebody to give something to me? Why am I asking for somebody to give something to me? Or even about like the Nine of Pentacles, you know what you're worth now. Okay, you know what you're worth now. So if this is the same situation with a shut up ring, it's like you're not the same person that you were in the past where you were hoping that someone would commit to you. Now you know what you're worth. Now you know that if someone wants to commit to you, they need to show you that what you're worth to them, okay? So if someone tries to give you a little shut up ring, right, out of as much low effort as possible, okay, and throws it at you while you're leaving, if that's the same situation here that's going on, you might turn around and say, why are you so cheap with it, huh? Why are you so cheap? Because now you know what you're worth. And now you know that you've been waiting long enough for someone to commit. And this person, you know, you felt like maybe for years you've been trying to prove to them that you're good enough to be a wife, to be a husband. And being cheap with it is not going to prove, is not going to, you know, after you've discovered your self-worth and what you're worth and your own value, and you know what you deserve, and you know what you have to offer, and you know that you're the fucking total package, and you know that you bring everything to the table, and you know that you're, you know, you're a committed, loyal, faithful, honest person that would do everything in a full commitment with this person. It's like, if the person that you're with really valued you, or really appreciated you, or really knew the value that you bring to their life, why are you being so fucking cheap with it then? That's the change in the internal energy. It's a change. Why does collectives, words, actions not fit together all the time? Because there was an internal change with someone's confidence and what somebody knows what they're worth now, and that someone is not going to settle for low effort, bare minimum, being an option, feeling like you have to settle for less. You're not doing that anymore. You're not settling anymore for low effort, bare minimum, when you know who you are and you know what you have to offer. And either someone sees that in you or you don't, but you're not going to be proving yourself to anyone anymore. You don't care about having to prove yourself at all. You shouldn't, okay? Because that internal feeling of I want them to see what's good in me. I want them to see that I'm good enough. I want to prove myself that I am worth the attention or the time or something. That is only going to make you insecure. Okay? Because that's why you're doing it in the first place. It's coming from a place of insecurity, thinking that if this person validates you and gives you that affection and gives you that commitment, that you're going to feel like, oh, now I feel better because now I know that I am worth this. But you're basing your own worth off of this other person's actions. And you don't do that anymore. You don't do that anymore. Your worth is no longer tied to what someone else does. That's the disconnect here, okay? So what's the Ten of Swords? The Eight of Cups. This has to do with you walking away after a betrayal. Yeah, so you walked away. You did walk away here and you rejected something. You walked away and you rejected your wish fulfillment. So this is really the shut up ring situation, okay? It's you've been begging for commitment for years. This person treated you like a liability this whole time. They treated you like a runner-up or second best or not worth the risk. They treated you like not now, maybe later. They made you feel like you were an outcast. They made you feel like you weren't good enough to become a family with them. They made you feel very insecure about, no, you're not worth the commitment to me. Only if you prove yourself, then maybe. So all of those years of that kind of treatment, and then finding back to yourself and what you're worth. If someone then comes around the corner while you're leaving and then has the audacity to throw at your fucking head what you've been wishing for this whole time, what you've been asking for this whole time, it's like you weren't ever worth it to them. Now you know what you're worth. Now you're leaving. And then while you're leaving, then they want to give you what you've been wishing for this whole time. You want to know why they give it to you now? Because they know that you've been wanting this the whole fucking time. This is what you've been asking for the whole time, is commitment. And they took you for granted, and they didn't value you, and they treated you like an option, and they just kept you waiting around like a placeholder this whole time until you get up and leave. And then they're like, wait, how they've been asking for this from me the whole time. Okay, now I'll give it to them now that they're leaving. No, it's not worth anymore. It's not worth the same anymore. So I feel like someone here is honestly sitting around surprised about why you are rejecting the one thing that you've been wanting for and asking for and wishing for this whole time. And I feel like I already explained why. Why is collective now rejecting what they've been wishing for and wanting for this whole time? Because the way that you feel about yourself has changed. And what you're willing to settle for has changed. And the bare minimum effort that you're willing to accept from a person has changed. In the past, with this person, you accepted the bare minimum. You accepted low effort. You accepted settling for less. You accepted excuses. You accepted someone making you feel like you're not good enough. You don't accept those things anymore. You don't accept that anymore. And if someone comes around and tries saying, oh, look, I have a $50 ring for you now, you're like, excuse me? Because how is that supposed to make you feel? First of all, are you supposed to be accepting the bare minimum? Hell fucking no. I feel like you've been dealing with enough. That shows you how much this person is willing to invest, what you're worth to them after all this time. Low effort, bare minimum, okay? And, you would have to settle for less. If you have, like, let's say you have a specific diamond cut you really like, or you have, you kind of know the kind of ring that you want, and this person is like, here, I'll give you this $50 thing with the smallest diamond I can find on it. And you're like, if I accept that, I would have to settle for less. I would have to settle for something that I don't even really like. But at least I got the commitment. No, you're not there anymore. That is not your mindset anymore. You're not going to be accepting bare minimum, low effort, where you feel like, if you accept something like that from someone, you could only accept that if you were still feeling like that, at least it shows now that I'm worth it to them. At least I'm worth it to them now to commit. No. Okay, finally they see that I'm worth it. No, they don't. That's not why they're offering you a gift while you're leaving. It's because they don't want to lose you, and they know that you've been wanting this the whole time, and now they feel like they can just throw it at your head while you're leaving, and you'll say yes. Okay, and it doesn't even have to be an engagement ring. That's just the energy that's here, okay? That's just the energy. It can be anything. It's like, you've been wanting to move in together for the longest time, and they're always finding excuses as to why you can't move in together. And then you say, you know what? I deserve someone that wants that commitment, and all of a sudden they're ready. Okay, fine, let's move in together. You want to know, you see what I mean? It's like they're not doing it because they actually saw that as a good option. It's almost coming off as desperate. Do you want someone to make you a desperate offer? Because that's what it feels like. And I feel like you got to the point where you said, no, I don't want your desperate, low effort offer. I want something where someone sees my value and they match that with their actions. What they give to me matches what I'm worth to them. I'm not going to sit around and prove myself to you that I'm good enough for bare minimum. Okay, and that's why you said no to something here. So, anything else? Four of Swords in reverse. You said no. You said no. You said no. Because Four of Swords in reverse, the reason why somebody offered something to you, or why they are offering something to you, is desperation, is because they're restless, is because they're nervous, they're anxious, because they know that you're no longer accepting the bare minimum, or you're not settling, or you're not tolerating bad behavior. You're gonna leave. You are leaving, okay? And it makes them nervous, it makes them restless. And that's why you said no. It's just like, the Seven of Wands could be them trying to stop you from leaving, or it could be you blocking them because you know that's why they're doing what they're doing. It's not because they actually see your value all of a sudden, right? Six of Wands, yes. That's exactly what's going on here. It's because you know your value. High Priestess, exactly. Eight of Wands. You know exactly why somebody sent something to you, why they took this action, okay? And it's why all of a sudden they're pretending like they value you, appreciate you, they see all these things in you, and your intuition is like, no, I know that that's not why you're doing this. I know it's because you're desperate. I know it's because you don't want me to leave. And also, I know what I'm worth, and I'm worth more than that. I know I'm worth more than that. And if you know what I'm worth, you would be putting in more effort, right? Just saying. The Moon, okay? Internal hidden processes. So I'm going to leave it at that, okay? Good for you for knowing your worth, ladies, men. Don't settle for less, okay? February, a Capricorn, and a Leo, a sister, a mother, and a Scorpio, okay? And and January. And then we have a Father at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Hope this helps. Thank you for watching. Until next time.